75-minute focus pose class on the pose called Utkatasana, fierce pose. So start in Vajrasana with your feet tucked under, toes tucked under, and press your inner heels back, press your heels back, spread open the bottoms of your feet, and flex your ankles more. So pull your toes towards your shins, press your heels back. This is what we know as dorsiflexing the ankle joint, or dorsiflexing your foot. Take a couple breaths here, settle into your practice. Close your eyes if necessary. Alright, lean forward. Now plantar flex your feet. Point your feet and sit on your heels. Vajrasana variation. Now this is what we know as plantar flexion. So just trying to get you in touch with the two different terms here. Take a couple breaths here. Now one more time, go back to dorsiflexion. So tuck your toes under, sit back on your heels, walk your knees back slightly, and press your heels back. Pull your toes towards your shins and dorsiflex at the ankle joint a little bit more. And go ahead and go to downward facing dog. Now do a little bit of that same action here. Press your heels down and back. And then pull your toes up towards your shins, but toes stay on the mat, just create that action as if you're doing that. And dorsiflex at the ankle joint a little bit more. Now slightly bend your knees, but keep those actions going on. So press the heels down and back. As if you're going to get your toes to touch your shins, go ahead and pull up in the direction of your shins, but keep pressing your heels back. Keep the knees slightly back. Now walk your hands to your feet. So back of your mat, standing fold, Uttanasana variation. Grab your elbows if that's okay, or use your blocks there. Now move your hips slightly forward. And bend your knees slightly, just like you did in down dog there. Go ahead and put a bend in your knees. And dorsiflex at the ankle joint a little bit more, so lean your hips even more forward than that. There you go. Bless you. Press through your heels. So keep driving down through your heels, slightly pull up as if you're going to get your toes to touch your shins, but don't lift the feet. Bless you. Now bring your hands back to the floor. Slowly walk a hand's length forward. Keep your heels spiked in the earth, but bend your knees. Go ahead and bend your knees. Now move your hips forward as well. walk yourself forward. Go slow. And just keep driving your heels down into the floor and dorsiflex more at your ankle joints. Keep going. Keep the knees slightly bent. Yeah. Spike the heels. There you go. A few more breaths there. So now you're back in down dog with knees slightly bent, just a little more opening of the backs of your legs, or backs of your calves. Now go ahead and straighten the legs. Spike the heels down. And go ahead and walk your hands back to your feet again. Go to Uttanasana back there. And stand up. Is that enough? Or okay. Now roll up a little bit of your mat here. So just a forward at the same time. If you have that range of motion, hips slightly forward. So the knees start to come past the ankle joints. There you go. So we're looking to target opening up the backs of your calves here. So we're trying to take the hamstrings out of the equation. Hands to the floor, walk yourself forward a tiny bit, knees bent. Now from there, straighten your legs. And walk your hands back. Grab your hips, look forward, stand up. Leave the roll there. Actually, unroll it, sorry. Unroll it. Let's move forward. Go to down dog again. Now, bend your knees till your shins are parallel to the floor. Lift your heels. Bend your knees more, shins more parallel-ish to the floor. You need to walk your stance out further, hands further forward. Now bend your knees even more. Stick your butt up. Come out of your shoulders. Bend your knees, stick your butt up. Press your heels back. Keep driving heels down and back. Straighten your legs. Walk forward, standing forward fold. Okay, step your feet together. First pass, bend your knees, place your hands on your knees, and then sit low. Bring your knees in front of your toes. So go ahead and shift forward. Now rock more weight into your heels, drive your heels back, and stretch your arms up. Utkatasana. Keep driving the heels down. A few more breaths here. And shift those knees forward. There you go. Alright, on your exhale, stand up. Release. Now, Tadasana. So, strengthen your legs. Actually, sorry, let's start here first. Lift your toes up. And rock your weight front to back on your feet. Just so you can feel the heels, feel the balls of the toes, and then slowly stop that rocking. Go more towards midline here. Once you do that, place the toes down, and then spread the bottoms of your feet wider. So heels slightly apart, big toes together, heels slightly apart. Now, pull your outer shins in towards center, lift your kneecaps, and then with your hands, go ahead and slap your thighs back, firm your thighs back. So squeeze there, press your tailbone down towards the floor, lift your lower abdomen, lift your chest, and now roll your shoulders back, stretch your arms. There you go. So Tadasana. Remember Tadasana, because it's going to come into play in every other one of these poses here. Now, on your inhale, or doesn't matter, pull your right knee in towards your chest. Grab the back of your right thigh. Now, whenever you lifted your leg here, you used your hip flexors to do this, so the front of your thigh there. Now, stretch your right leg out straight and release the hands. So you're going to feel your hip flexors, quadriceps start to fire up. Take a breath. And then release the pose. Go back to Tadasana. Now switch sides. Pull the left knee in, interlace your fingers behind the thigh. And then stretch the left leg out. Release the hands. And just notice which muscles are firing on the top of your left thigh. Hip flexors, quadriceps, and then slowly release. Now grab your hips. Go ahead and bend your right knee. Keep the right knee in line with the left knee. Go ahead and get them to line up here. So both thighs flush with each other. There you go. And just act as if you're going to kick yourself in the butt. There you go. And notice which muscles fire up there. Those are, for today's class, hamstrings. And then release the foot, Tadasana. And then go ahead and do the other side. Bend your left knee. Keep the thighs flush, knees flush with each other, and act as if you're going to kick your own butt. There you go. Engage your hamstrings. And then release the pose, Tadasana. Now squat. Yeah, just bend your knees, squat. Sit down on your butt. And grab the backs of your thighs. Lean back just a touch. You need a Kleenex? All right. Lean back just a touch. Let's start with feet hip width apart. Let's modify this. It'll be modified Navasana. Lift your right leg up. Lift your left leg up. Now, remember when you engaged your quadriceps there, the front of your thighs, go ahead and bring your hands to the tops of your thighs and push on your thighs, but at the same time, squeeze back in. So resist the two. Engage your quadriceps, your hip flexors. Keep that engagement, but now grab the backs of your thighs, pull with your hands, but press with your thighs. So engage your hamstrings a little bit more. Now balance those two actions. Reach your arms forward. Couple breaths here. So Navasana variation. And bring your feet back down. Soles of your feet together, just as a little counter pose. Soles of your feet together, lift your chest. Alright, let's do that one more time. Bring the knees back together. And let's do legs together this time. Grab the backs of your thighs. Lean back a bit. Lift your chest and then float your feet. Now, same idea. Hands to the tops of your thighs. Press into your thighs, but at the same time, press your thighs into your hands. So engage there, engage your quadriceps, hip flexors, and then grab the backs of your thighs. Pull with your hands at the same time, press your legs into your hands, lift your chest. Now balance those two actions and stretch your arms forward. Okay, release. Go to Baddha Konasana briefly. Lift your chest. Bring your legs together and then stand up. We don't have a chair.
No.
Let me show you here. Alright, well, you're going to have to do it without a chair. Turn towards me. Step your feet wide. What? Oh. Alright, step your feet wide. Now, stretch your arms out in a T shape. Step your feet a touch wider. So, feet more underneath your wrists. Grab your hips. Turn your right foot out 90 degrees. Left foot slightly in. Do warrior two. Bend your right knee over your front ankle. Go wider in your stance.
That's my limit.
So what I want you to do is remember how you bent at the hip, your hip flexors fired up. So go ahead and bend at the hip more, hip crease more. Lean to the right. Bring your elbow to your thigh. Yeah, elbow to your thigh. Bring your top hand to your hip. Now, take your left foot further back. Keep this going this way. There you go. So bend at the hip. Now remember, press down into your front heel. Lightly pull back. Go ahead and do that. And then firm here. Go ahead and firm the top of your thigh a little bit. Now come back into warrior two. So lunge, press through your heel, pull back, engage your hamstrings, stand up, switch to the other side. It's a real lack of enthusiasm going on for that one. Bend your left knee, and definitely do the safety features here. Get the knee over the ankle. Now bring the elbow to the thigh. Go ahead and modify. Come to extended side angle. And stretch your stance a little bit longer. Your front thigh will be able to go more parallel to the floor if you do that. Now press into your front heel. Lightly pull back. Engage your hamstrings. At the same time, flex your hip. Go ahead and move your torso towards me. There you go. Now keep the thigh there. Come back into warrior two. Keep the engagement of your hamstrings and the flexion at your hip. Alright, stand up. Parallel your feet. Tadasana. And let's just do that one more time. Step your feet wide. Step or jump your feet wide. Right foot out. Warrior 2 first. Now do modified side angle. Bring your right elbow to your thigh. Top hand to your hip. Now stretch your stance. Go ahead and step your left foot further back. Keep the right knee where it's at, but left foot further back. Now press through your right heel, lightly pull back so you engage your hamstrings. Flex a little bit more at the hip, so get your thigh more parallel to the floor. Lengthening your stance is going to help with that. Alright, now keep that engagement, Warrior 2. Stand up, switch to the other side, grab your hips as you switch around. Now bend the left knee. Modify your side angle, bring your left elbow to your thigh. Lengthen your stance if you have it in you. Now once you find your stance, press down in your front heel, lightly pull back, and allow that to feel as if you can soften into your front hip a little bit more. Go more parallel-ish with your front thigh. Keep your hamstrings engaged. Come up to Warrior 2. And then stand up, parallel your feet, step or jump together. Tadasana. Take your feet hip width apart. Fold forward. Grab your hips, stand up. Okay. We're going to use your bed as the prop, like the chair here. So I'm going to have you sit on the very front edge. I had you do this over at the other house, but sit on the front edge and notice how my ankles are actually behind my knees. So pretty close to the front edge here, and then I'm going to have you stretch your arms up. Now right now my heels are really light, so to actually get my bum to come up, I have to shift all my weight into my heels, lean slightly forward, and it's an action of pull the heels back, engage the hamstrings. Quads are going to engage as well. Slowly lift the bum. Slowly stand up. And then we're going to do that in reverse. Bend the knees. Stick the bum back. Drive your heels down and back. And slowly press the bum down. So I'm going to have you do that 2 or 3 times. We'll see. But feet together. Heels further back. So go more dorsiflexion. Go as far back as you can handle in the ankles there. There you go. Scoot yourself forward even more. Even more. So the sit bones are right on the edge. Alright, try it there. Stretch your arms up. You're going to have to lean forward slightly. Now shift more weight into your heels. Press your heels down. Lean forward even more and start to lift your bum up. Go slow. And then from the top down, slowly, keep driving the heels down. Act as if the chair is still there, because it is, and slowly sit down. Alright, do that again. Press to the heels. Lean slightly forward, but shift more weight into the heels. Engage your hamstrings, and slowly stand yourself up. And do that again on the way down. Keep the hamstrings engaging, so act as if you're going to kick your own butt. One more time. This is just a drill. So engage the hamstrings, heels back, slowly go for it. slowly sit down. Keep the hamstrings engaging, quadriceps firming, and release. Okay. Now come down, do downward dog. Now walk your hands to your feet and stand up. Okay, come off your mat. Let me use your mat as a prop here, since we don't have any props here. Or blankets. It's too high. Okay. So, what those last few poses were intended to do was try to get your hamstrings engaged, quads engaged, but also get the feeling of your thighs more parallel-ish to the floor and what engages when that happens. So I'm going to have you do Utkatasana on this prop. So your heels will be raised a little bit. Are you paying attention?
Yeah.
Okay. Heels raised, feet together. Okay, go ahead and watch. That's what I'm asking you to do. Heels raised, feet together. I'm going to have you bend your knees, get the knees in front of the toes, and you see how thighs are parallel to the floor?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to have you keep that there, then stretch up. But remember the engagement of the hamstring. So it's heels down into the prop, heels back, pull back to propel your chest up. Alright? Feet together. Yep, bend your knees, touch the floor. All the way down, no, wait. Get down there. Touch the floor. Get your hips in line with your knees. Thighs parallel to the floor. Thighs parallel to the floor. Parallel to the floor.
I'm trying my best here, okay? That's
Come
kind
on,
of
stand up.
all I can do.
Here. Grab this. Start like this. So if the floor is too far away, bring the floor to you. Place your hands on the blocks. Pull the hamstrings, or pull the heels back to engage the hamstrings. Feet together. Bend your knees more, go knees in front of, there you go. Knees in front of the toes. There you go. Now pull the heels back, engage the hamstrings. Keep the hips low, but then bring the torso up. Hips low, torso up. Take the hands off the block. Stretch up. Okay, stand up. You don't need a heater, right? Okay, down dog. Uttanasana, top of your mat, stand. Stand up, Tadasana. Okay. Let me demonstrate something for you. So I'm gonna have you go through cat and cow just so you can see what anterior and posterior tilt to the pelvis is. So go ahead and look here at my pelvis. I'm gonna have you back bend, look up, but notice how the pelvis has rotated forward. So lower back moves in, pelvis rotates forward towards the floor, or top of pelvis rotates towards the floor. That's anterior tilt. And then do the opposite. Round your lower back, move your tailbone down, and that's posterior tilt. So I'm going to have you go through that a couple times just so you can feel the difference between the two. So hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. And when you're ready, go ahead and do the back bended version. So back bend, slightly look up, and tip the top of your pelvis towards the floor. Anterior tilt your pelvis. And when you're ready, go ahead and do the opposite of that. Tailbone down. Round your whole spine. Do more posterior tilt to your pelvis. And just go through that a couple times on your own rhythm there. And on this next one, when you go back into the posterior tilt, notice which muscles have to fire to make that happen. You have to lift your lower abdominals up. So now do that 2 more times, just noticing that that's what has to happen to get the posterior tilt. And then come back to a neutral spine and find neutral here. So neither too much anterior tilt or too much posterior tilt, just find neutral and engage your lower abdomen. Well, that's posterior. So just find neutral, find neutral. There you go. Now go to downward facing dog. Now bend your knees, lift your heels, and now do more anterior tilt to your pelvis, back bend. So tilt, there you go. Tilt the pelvis forward, anterior tilt your pelvis. Now, go ahead and work your legs to straight with that anterior tilt, but now level it out. Go ahead and find more neutrality to your pelvis. Lift your lower abdomen, nice. And now come down to your hands and knees and grab your block. Place your block in between your thighs and set up for down dog again. Go for it, downward facing dog. Now squeeze the block. Press the block back. So more internal rotation to your thighs, yeah. And just notice which muscles are firing to squeeze that block. Your inner thighs should start to fire up, the adductor group of muscles. So keep squeezing the block. Just take note of which muscles are firing. And then come down, remove the block. And now I'm going to have you use a strap around your thighs. Do you have an actual strap?
Yeah.
Should we use that?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
It's in the bag. You can it's probably under there.
So I'm going to have you put the strap around your thighs, and it's going to get you more in touch with the other group, the opposing group of muscles, which is the abductors, the abductors. So go ahead and put the strap around your thighs so your feet are hip width apart, just like for down dog there. And go back to down dog. Have the strap a little bit lower. Go just above your knees. Downward facing dog. Now press your thigh bones out into the strap. Go ahead and press the thighs out. So out to the sides. Make the strap taunter by pressing your legs out. Keep pressing out. Now, at the tops of your hip creases, slightly externally rotate. So right here, go ahead and slightly turn the leg bones out as you press out into the strap. Keep pressing out so you feel the outer hips firm up. The gluteal muscles, actually, the butt cheeks is what we're looking for. Okay, standing forward fold. I'm not sure if that's actually happening or not. Stand up.
Maybe the strap needs to be
I
tight.
think it needs to be tighter. So let's do that here. Hold on. Stand all the way up. Go ahead and stand up, Tadasana. Take your feet a little bit closer towards each other. Now tighten the strap. Now do that here. Press your legs out into the strap. You can take your feet a little bit wider. There you go. Now press your thigh bones out. Break the strap. Now right at the top of your hip joints here, act as if you're slightly rolling your thighs out. And feel, now touch your butt cheeks. Are they firming?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's what we're looking for in down dog. So now go ahead, fold forward to go back to down dog. Let's go ahead and set up your down dog. And do that again. Press the thigh bones out. So break the strap and then slightly externally rotate your thigh bones here so you feel, engagement there. So gluteal muscles firing up. Tailbone, go ahead and press it longer. Actually, tailbone more towards your feet for today's pose. Okay. Go ahead and come down, unbind yourself. Now sit on your butt. Your butt. Grab your block. Place your block in between your thighs again. There you go. Grab the backs of your thighs. Lean back. Lift your chest. Lift your feet off the floor. Now, squeeze your block. Crush your block. Engage your adductors. Still remember all the other actions that you previously did. But engage your adductors more. Now bring your hands to your inner thighs. Pull out as you pull in and try to crush your block. Yep, squeeze. And release. Go ahead and get the block out of there. Now grab your strap, loop up your legs again. And we'll do feet hip width apart. Grab the backs of your thighs. Pull your chest up, lean back a bit, and then float your feet. Press your thighs into your strap, snap your strap, bring your hands to your outer thighs, press into your thighs with your hands, and then vice versa, squeeze out. Now slightly externally rotate at the top of your hips, fire your glutes. There you go. Couple breaths. And release.
Is it easier with a strap?
It's what?
Easier with a strap
To do the pose?
than with the block, yeah.
Yeah. Because the glutes are actually lifting you up a little bit. Go ahead and unbind yourself. Now let's try those two actions without either one of the props. So grab the backs of your thighs. Pull your chest up, float your feet. Now, just to remember, hands to your inner thighs, pull in as you pull out with your hands, fire there, and then bring your hands to your outer thighs, press in with your hands, press out with your thighs, fire your glutes. Now balance the two actions and stretch your arms forward. If you have even more to play, stretch your arms up. Exactly. All right, come out. And downward facing dog. forward fold, top of your mat. What time did we start at?
9.
Okay, well, stand up. We got a lot to do. Grab your block. So we're gonna kind of like beat this one over the head. Place your block in between your thighs. Yeah. Turn it the other way. So it's there you go. Now feet hip width and bend your knees. Stretch your arms overhead. Do Utkatasana. Bend your knees even more. Squeeze the block. Lovingly squeeze the block. Act as if it's rolling back as you sit down. So just fire up the inner thighs. And then stand up. Remove the block. Grab your strap. You know which one's next. Yeah, around your thighs. Oh, I thought you really did. Okay, and you're going to do feet hip width apart still. Now, Utkatasana, bend your knees. Bend your knees deeply. Stretch your arms up. Same actions, press out into the strap. Slightly externally rotate your upper thigh bones at the hip joints and engage your glutes. Lift your lower abdomen, find more of a neutrality to your pelvis. So lift the lower abdomen, tailbone down. Fire the glutes, hamstrings. Stand up. Alright, get rid of the strap. Okay, let's put those 3 actions together, or everything that you've already done together. You know what?
We did it in one.
No, let's do this. Let's take the ankle joint action out of it and fold this back up. We'll bring it back in later. So put your heels up on here again. Do it with the heels raised, and do it with feet together now. Now let's have you do it from the bottom up again. Go ahead and bend your knees, touch the floor. Not that low. Hips in line with your knees. we still got to work here. Bend your knees. Come down. Bring the blocks back further. No. What are you doing? You're just trying to get out of it, huh? All right, bend the knees.
That's it.
Bring the knees forward. There you go. Thighs parallel to the floor. That's as parallel as they get, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Engage your inner thighs. Engage your glutes. Sit lower. You got way more than that. Sit lower. That is bad. Lift your chest up. So engage your legs. Inner thighs. Slightly counter that with the outer butt cheeks. Oh my gosh. Alright.
This is work.
I know it is.
Oh, then I'll do my best.
It's plenty of work. Alright, unfold your mat. Too early in the morning for it, huh? Okay.
No.
Do Tadasana. Top of your mat, do Tadasana. So create all those actions in your legs. Press your heels down, firm your thighs, even tone your glutes. Tailbone down, lower abdomen up. Now, take your arms overhead. Now create a little more length from your hips all the way up to your armpits. So, tailbone down, root your hips down, but lift your whole side waist up, and extend your spine. So, Ardha Hastasana variation. your blocks. Place your blocks underneath your hands, or underneath your shoulders, sorry, and fold. And now go ahead and lift halfway up. Bring the blocks underneath your shoulders. So directly under your shoulders. Let's modify this. Bring your feet hip width apart. Now bend your knees a bit and stick your butt back. Lift your chest up more. Engage your back muscles. Try to find a back bend here. Go ahead and back bend. So create more anterior tilt to your pelvis. Lower back in. No, that's posterior. Anterior tilt, lower back in, pull your chest forward. Feel all these muscles engage right here. So rectus spinae, multifidi, quadrates. Alright, exhale, forward fold. Let's go ahead and do that again. Come halfway up. Back bend. There we go, knee slightly bent. Now notice that the lowest ribs want to dump down towards the floor, slightly pull that back up, but now back bend again. Now you're going to posterior tilt. Keep the lower back in. Okay, fold forward. Stand up. Okay. Now go back to Urdhva Hastasana. Stretch your arms overhead. Now fully reach up and act as if you're going towards a back bend here. Go ahead and press through your feet, lift up, lift your side waist up, hold back body longer. Now bring your hands to your front ribs, so your false ribs. Now notice that they're trying to pop out here. Now with your hands, slightly slide them in towards center and then pull the ribs back. So move both your hands towards center, towards each other, and pull the ribs back. So engage your transverse abdominis. Alright, so recognize that. Notice what has to engage to pull the ribs back. Release your hands. Fold forward, bring your hands to the blocks. Come halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Back bend. So engage all the back muscles. But now engage the transverse abdominis. Pull the lowest ribs in and still back bend. Alright, there we go. On your exhale, fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Just go back and forth between that a couple times. Feel the back muscles engage as you lengthen, and then fold. Do that 2 or 3 more times. Pull your chest forward, back bend, lengthen your spine, and then fold.
I'm not really feeling the muscle engaged, that's all.
In your lower back.
In the back.
Come to your fingertips. Now, float your hands. Keep that forward fold. Keep the forward fold. Let's go to the wall then. Stand up. Let me show you. So come over here to the wall. Act as if you're doing a half forward fold. And look at my lower back. So lower back needs to move in. Engage your glutes still though. So engage the glutes, lower back in, lift the lower abdomen. See my ribs, they're falling down now. Pull the lowest ribs up. And typically you should start to feel there's these columns that go down your spinal cord. You're going to start to feel those fire up. Still pull your whole head towards the wall. Lengthen out your whole spine. Engage your glutes. Take your hands just a touch higher, just slightly higher, so you have more of a back bend. You're engaged here. I can feel that. So this is what I'm talking about. Is right through here. Okay, now go back to Ardha Uttanasana. Stand up first. Try it again down here on the blocks. Ardha Uttanasana. Alright, so start in Uttanasana. So I want you to be able to feel the feeling of bringing the torso up and which muscles are actually doing that from this folded position. So come halfway up. Engage those long column muscles, the erector spinae muscles. Keep the glutes toned. Lift the lower abdomen, transverse abdominis. Okay. Grab your hips. Should feel it there. And stand up. Let's do it in one more variation. Let me show you. So this will probably get you in touch with it more. So I'm gonna have you do it from warrior one-ish. So right foot out, left foot strongly in, square the hips, bend the knee. Warrior one-ish. And I'm gonna have you bring both your hands down. So pretty much, firm your legs, but then stretch your arms up overhead here. So once you go from fingertips on the floor to fingertips up to this position, you're going to start to feel the lower back muscles engage. So notice that. And then from this 45-degree angle, take it all the way back up to warrior one. So it's Vira 1, Vira 3 prep, Vira 1. So Vira 1, and then bring the fingertips. Once you do your Vira 1 stance, bring the fingertips down to the floor. Now, re-solidify your stance. There you go. Now stretch your arms out at a 45-degree angle. Notice all the muscles on your back fire up. Back bend. Still pull the lower ribs in. And then come all the way up, Vira 1. That was quick. That was enough, huh?
More.
Alright. That's fine. Bend the knee. Warrior 1.
I can do it again.
Start in warrior 1 first. So stretch the arms up. Bend the knee. Find the stance. And then fold forward, bring the fingertips down. And re-solidify the stance. Pull the thigh bones in. Now stretch the arms up 45 degrees or so. Now notice the muscles that are firing on your back. Now allow those muscles to pull your torso up, warrior 1. Alright, come out. You got one more? Alright, do it again on the first side. Right foot out. Start with warrior 1. Go warrior 1 straight up and down first. So find the stance in your legs, engage your legs, and stretch your arms, spine up. And then fold yourself forward, touch the floor or your blocks. Re-solidify your legs. Bring your arms up, 45-degree angle, and stretch your spine. Now, take it all the way back up, Vira 1. Oh yeah. And then stand up, do the other side. But you feel the back muscles there.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, do Vira 1. And fold yourself forward, place the hands. Now re-solidify your legs. Bring the arms up 45 degrees or so. And then inhale all the way up into Virabhadrasana 1, or just come into Vira 1. Alright, come out, Tadasana. Okay. Now let's have you do that Ardha Uttanasana just one more time. Grab your blocks. Do feet together this time. Fold forward, hands on the blocks. Fold forward, take a couple breaths before we go into the next pose. place your blocks on the highest setting, underneath your shoulders. Now do Ardha Uttanasana, the halfway lift again. Now engage those muscles that you felt in the last exercise. So stretch your spine, stretch from your waist all the way up through your armpits and lengthen the whole side waist out. Still engage transverse abdominis, lower ribs in. Now grab your hips, pull your chest forward again, and stand up. Okay, so I'm going to keep that lifting your heels. Let's go ahead and fold this up again. Keep lifting your heels. I'll demonstrate. We're going to come into it from the bottom up. So heels are on there. Bend the knees, touch the floor. Now, like you did in that Warrior One business, this whole torso coming up business, that's what's going to happen here. So do all those previous actions in your legs, heels down and back, engage your hamstrings, engage your glutes, lift your lower abdomen, and then stretch the arms forward, stretch the arms up. Pull the ribs back once you get up. Bend the knees. Knees in front of the toes. There you go. Fold all the way forward. So I'll bring the blocks over here if you need. No. Bend your knees. Not Uttanasana, Utkatasana. Bend your knees. Stick the butt back. Go ahead and bend the knees more. Bend the knees more. There you go. Now reach the arms forward and look forward. Engage your back muscles. There you go. Bend the knees, and then torso up. There you go. Very nice. So a couple breaths. Engage your glutes more. Stand up. Alright, take a breath. Alright, let's try that one more time. So fold forward, bend your knees, Utkatasana shape in the bottom half. So bend the knees. Now reach your arms forward. Start to engage your back muscles. Reach your arms forward. Stretch from your hips up through your side waist. Lengthen your spine as you come up. Torso up. Knees bent. There you go. Now pull your ribs back. Transverse abdominis. There we go. Exhale, stand. Release. Downward facing dog. Unroll your mat. Stand up. You know what? Let's have you just kneel. Go ahead and kneel. Come down your knees. Sit on your heels. Actually, sit in Vajrasana again. So dorsiflex your ankle joints. Vajrasana one more time. Now I'm going to just introduce you to some of the actions that happen in the arms whenever we come into Utkatasana. So bring your palms up in front of you, elbows bent, and just move the palms away from center. And what's happening in your shoulder joint here, or your upper arm bone, is external rotation. So externally rotate your humerus. And then internally rotate. Bring the hands closer back together. Just do that 2 more times. Externally rotate. Internally rotate. Externally externally rotate. Now stretch your arms straight out to the sides, straighten the elbows, but now bring the arms up overhead and touch your palms at the top. Press your palms together. Still externally rotate your upper arm bones as you press your palms together. So Urdhva Namaskar variation in Vajrasana. So we had external rotation, then we had flexion and adduction. Now release. Now I'm going to have you stretch your shoulders by putting the elbows down on the bed here. And then it's the same actions though. Externally rotate the upper arm bones. Place the palms together. Walk your knees further back. And then allow your head to fall through the arms, but still externally rotate the upper arms. Press the elbows down. Allow the head to, go far enough back the head can fall through the arms. Press the elbows down. Externally rotate the upper arm bones. Yeah, and the more you lift your transverse, the more the stretch goes into your shoulders there. Or the more you can contain the lower ribs, the more the stretch can get into your shoulders. Okay. Go back to downward facing dog. And then step your feet together. So we're kind of hybriding a little portion of the practice here. So we just did your shoulders. Now bend your knees, shins parallel to the floor, just like you did at the beginning of practice. Heels back, shins parallel to the floor, heels back. Heels the other way. There you go. Reopen that. Backs of your calves. Alright, straighten your legs, walk yourself forward, Uttanasana. Stand up. Tadasana. Feet together. Urdhva Namaskar. Stretch your arms out. Touch your palms at the top. Externally rotate your upper arm bones. Squeeze your palms together. And now Utkatasana. Bend your knees. Do everything we just did. Press the heels down and back. Engage your hamstrings, engage your glutes, and still counteract that fire your inner thighs. Lift your lower abdomen. Lift your sideways up. Externally rotate your upper arm bones and stretch your arms up.
Now it's time for a picture.
Huh?
Now it's time for a picture.
Instagram.
Yes.
Alright, stand up. Fold,
That was good.
fold
Yeah.
forward. Huh? Yeah, that was gorgeous. Gorgeous. You can take your feet hip width if that's going to be more beneficial. We're going to cool down. Come to downward facing dog briefly. Firm your thighs, press them back. Now come down to your knees. Shift both your feet to the right of your hips and then sit down. on your left sit bone. And then bring your left hand to your right knee, right hand back. Lift and twist. Bharadvajasana variation. Lower back in. Lift up through the crown of your head. Switch. Back to your hands and knees. Other side. You're on your left. Is that accurate? No, it's the other way.
On my right.
So allow this one to fall in the bottom one. There you go. And then twist. Right hand to your left knee, left hand back. Lift and twist. Twist. Okay. Come back through center. Go to down dog very briefly. And walk yourself forward, sit down on your butt. So I'm supposed to get you into shoulder stand or halasana using props and whatnot. You don't have any blankets here, do you?
No, I have a bolster.
You have a bolster? Let's use your bolster. Where's your bolster? And you got neck stuff going on right now too.
Yeah.
Huh?
So
I'm gonna have to have you do something other. I'm gonna have you do Viparita Karani then. So hips. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have that or not.
yeah.
Is that enough room for you?
Yeah.
So put the hips up on there, legs up the wall. And so, like I said last night, the bolster being away from the wall actually allows you to open your chest more, so do that here once you get into place. Open your chest. Yeah, it's okay to take your elbows out like that, externally rotate. That'll help open the chest as well. But as you did in Utkatasana, press your heels up. And from your hips all the way up through your armpits, see if you can create a little more length there. So Tadasana is in every pose. So even here, Tadasana is in the pose. Find those elements. And part of the assignment was to relate the inversion, some of the cues I gave in Utkatasana to this pose, this inverted pose. So that's heels up, sideways longer. before Shavasana. Go ahead and come out, go to Shavasana.